I welcome you all to the course of heat transfer. In the last classes, we have seen the modes of heat transfer and governing laws for the same, boundary conditions, three-dimensional heat conduction equation in Cartesian and polar coordinates. We have also discussed some numericals on plane wall, cylinder, and sphere, considering with and without heat generation. Then we have also considered resistances in series as well as parallel, and without the variation of thermal conductivity. The numericals have been discussed. In today's class, we will be discussing the next portion of course heat transfer, which is module 2. In that, the first concept is related to critical thickness or critical radius of insulation. Let us see into it. Now, critical thickness of insulation comes into picture because from our fundamentals, we know that if we keep adding the insulating material, the resistance will increase and hence the heat transfer will decrease. This is the common intuition that every one of us will be having. But the fact is, it is true for plane wall, whereas for cylinders as well as spheres, it won't hold good. I mean to say, if you consider a plane wall, and if I start adding the insulating material, along the cross section of the plane wall, as I increase the thickness of the insulating material, correspondingly the conductive resistance will increase, which results in decrease in heat transfer. Whereas for cylinders as well as spheres, up to certain point, heat transfer will increase. After some point, the heat transfer will start decreasing, even after addition of insulating material. Now, how do we define critical radius? Critical radius is that particular radius at which you can get maximum heat transfer or minimum resistance. You can define at that particular radius where on cylinder or on sphere we get maximum heat transfer or minimum resistance. Both are correct, because we know that whenever resistance is minimum, the heat transfer will be maximum. Either we can define with respect to heat transfer or with respect to resistance. Now the same has been given here. The thickness up to which the heat flow increases and after which heat flow decreases is termed as critical thickness. In case cylinder and sphere, it is called critical radius. Now, if you consider the critical thickness of insulation for cylinder, it goes like this. Consider a solid cylinder of radius R1 over which you have wrapped the insulating material of thermal conductivity K. After wrapping, the outer radius becomes R2. This is nothing but R1 plus thickness of the insulating material. So that comes to be R2. Let the cylinder is having a length of L. Let the thermal conductivity of the insulating material is K. When it is exposed to the air, let us consider it is having coefficient of thermal heat transfer as Hb. Now, if you see this equation, this is nothing but heat transfer equation for a cylinder considering two resistances. If you see carefully, one is conductive resistance and the one is convective resistance. Now the conductive resistance is because of the insulating material, and convective resistance when it is exposed to the ambient air. There could be convective loss of heat transfer also. I can write Q is equals to delta T upon conductive resistance and convective resistance. In the last class, we have discussed the conductive resistance for cylinder is ln of R2 by R1 divided by 2 pi K into L. Similarly, convective resistance as 1 over HA for cylinder, area is 2 pi R into L. So H becomes HB and area is nothing but 2 pi R corresponding to outer radius into the length of the cylinder. Now in this equation, if you see, the independent parameter is R2 because R1 is fixed, that is the radius of the sphere. The radius of the outer radius depends upon the thickness of the insulating material. So this R2 is a varying parameter. Now, if you consider ln of R2 by R1 divided by 2 pi KL, that becomes conductive resistance, and 1 over HB into 2 pi R2 into L, that becomes convective resistance. Now, if I keep adding the insulating material, R2 will keep on increasing. Now, if R2 is increasing, what happens to the conductive resistance? The numerator is increasing. So conductive resistance is also increasing. On the contrary, in convective resistance, R2 is in denominator. The convective resistance goes on decreasing if I increase the R2 value. Now conductive resistance is increasing and convective resistance is decreasing. In other words, the conductive heat transfer is decreasing and the convective heat transfer is increasing. Now how do we define a critical radius? Critical radius is a one where we get maximum heat transfer. Now, if we need to get a maximum heat transfer, we should have a minimum value of resistance, including conductive resistance as well as convective resistance. That is clear. If this denominator is minimum, we will have a maximum heat transfer. Now, we will derive an expression wherein for minimum value of resistance, what should be the relation with R with respect to H and K. So that defines the critical radius for cylinders. Now one thing is clear, that this denominator should be minimum. Now out of the basics that we have studied in mathematics, we know that for maxima or minima, the necessary condition is the first derivative must be equated to 0. Again, one more term. Now, with respect to what we need to differentiate, it is clear that we should always differentiate with respect to the independent variable. Now, as I told already, the independent variable is R2 because this depends upon how much of thickness you are adding. So the independent variable is R2. Now we should differentiate this denominator with respect to R2. That is the condition for minimum R2 or minimum resistance. At minimum resistance, the heat transfer Q equation will be maximum. Now if you take the differentiation of denominator, which is ln R2 by R1 upon K plus 1 over HD into R2, you differentiate that with respect to R2. Why R2? Because that is the independent parameter. We should always differentiate with respect to independent parameter. Now you take differentiation term-wise. So this is 1 upon K, you can take it out. So this is ln R2 by R1. We are differentiating with respect to R2. It is same as d by dx of ln x, which is nothing but 1 upon x. So you get 1 upon K multiplied by 1 upon R2 plus 1 over R2. Differentiation of 1 by x is minus 1 upon x square. In that way, if you take 1 over HP common, so you will be getting minus 1 by R2 square. At this point, if I take R2 common, 1 over R2 common, so this highlighted symbol should be negative. I think this is a mistake, printing mistake. So this should be negative. Make that correction. So you left with 1 upon K minus 1 over R2 into HP equals to 0. Or if you take the expression for R2 is nothing but K over HP. Now please make this correction. This has to be minus. And R2 is nothing but critical radius. Why this R2 become RC? Because you have considered the condition of maximum heat transfer. Whenever the heat transfer is maximum, the corresponding radius becomes critical radius. We have defined in the early. That is, whenever heat transfer is maximum, the corresponding radius becomes critical radius. At the same time, corresponding to critical radius, we will be having a minimum resistance. So this can be asked in your examination to derive a relation for critical radius in case of cylindrical coordinates or in case of cylinder. Next, we have critical thickness of insulation for sphere. Again, we will consider a solid sphere. The radius of solid sphere is R1, upon which we have mounted the insulating material all over. So at the end, the radius becomes R2. Okay. Now let us have the thermal conductivity of this insulating material as K. Now this is also having some convective resistance. Let the convective heat transfer coefficient is Hb. Again, for this also we have two resistances. One is conductive resistance and the one is convective resistance. Now this is the heat transfer equation for sphere. So Q is equals to delta T upon resistance. We have two resistances. One is conductive resistance and the one is convective resistance. Now the conductive resistance for sphere is given as R2 minus R1 divided by 4 pi K R1 R2, where R2 is outer radius, R1 is inner radius, K is the thermal conductivity of insulating material. Now if you consider the convective resistance, it is nothing but 1 over H naught into area. Area should be surface area because convection is a surface phenomena. The surface area for a sphere is 4 pi R2 square. Why R2? Why not R1? Because we are considering the outermost radius. Hence it is 4 pi R2 square. Again we have two resistances here. One is conductive resistance and the one is convective resistance. Now if you see carefully, if I increase the thickness, you can see here, if I increase the thickness, it is nothing but if I increase the value of R2, the thickness will increase. So R1 is fixed. If I increase the thickness means if I increase the R2 value, R2 minus R1 will be more. So this conductive resistance will be more. Again, in the same way, here also the conductive resistance increases, whereas the convective resistance decreases because R2 is in denominator. If you increase R2 value, as it is in denominator, its value goes on decreasing. Now one resistance is increasing, other resistance is decreasing. Now we should have one particular value at which the combination of these two should be a minimum. By increasing conductive resistance, the conductive heat transfer will decrease. By decreasing convective resistance, the convective heat transfer is increasing. So one is decreasing, another one is increasing. In this situation, we should have one optimum value. So that optimum value of radius is nothing but critical radius at which you get maximum Q or minimum resistance. Now again, we should differentiate the denominator with respect to R2. Why R2? Because that is the independent variable that keeps on varying. Now, if you differentiate the denominator with respect to R2 and equate it to 0, you will be getting d by d R2 of R2 minus R1 divided by 4 pi k R1 R2 plus 1 over 4 pi R2 square multiplied by H naught. Now 4 pi you can take outside, 1 over 4 pi, and equate it to 0, you left with d by d R2. If you separate the terms, R2 divided by k R1 R2 minus R1 divided by k R1 R2 plus 1 over R2 square into H naught. Now again, in the first term, R2 divided by k R1 R2, you can cancel R2 from numerator as well as denominator. So you left with 1 over k into R1 that we are getting here minus R1 divided by k R1 R2. You can cancel R1 in the numerator as well as denominator. You left with minus 1 over k R2. So this should be suffix, okay, plus 1 over R2 square multiplied by H naught. Now, if you differentiate with respect to R2 as it is independent of the term, it goes to 0. Now, 1 upon k you can take outside, d by d R2 of 1 over R2. It is nothing but differentiation of 1 by x. So that is minus 1 by x square. So you will be getting minus 1 over R2 square. So you got minus 1 here and it is multiplied with minus sign. You will be getting plus 1 over k into R2 square. Similarly, the differentiation of 1 by x square is minus 2 by x cube. So this is plus here, minus 2 divided by R2 cube minus 2 over here R2 cube multiplied by H naught is equated to 0. Now if you solve for R2, you will be getting 2k upon H naught. Now this R2 becomes RC because you have considered for a minimum value of resistance. For minimum value of resistance, you will be getting critical radius. Now many students get confused with 2k by H naught as well as k by H naught. When we recall the expression, it is very easy to remember. As it is a radius, the unit should be in meter. Now what is the unit of thermal conductivity? Watt per meter Kelvin. The unit of coefficient of heat transfer is watt per meter square Kelvin. Now watt per meter Kelvin in the numerator will get cancelled with watt per meter square Kelvin in the denominator. So you left with 1 meter that comes to the numerator. So many students may get confused with whether it is H naught by K or 2 H naught by K or whatever value, but it is easy to remember out of units. So it is K by H. If you derive the units for K as well as H, it is very easy to eliminate the confusion. Now, we will have little analysis on critical radius. Now, it is not necessary that all the time the insulation should reduce the heat transfer. Sometimes we may require insulation, but it should enhance the heat transfer. We have that applications also. For example, if you consider the electric cables, of course they are covered with some insulating material. That insulating material, if you consider the radius of the outer insulating material, it should lie well within the critical radius. If it lies above the critical radius, the heat transfer will decrease, which is not in favor of current carrying wires. For current carrying wires, there should not be heat accumulation. So even after insulation, the heat transfer should be more. Then only they will perform better. Another case, if you consider the tubes of your refrigerator. Now your intention is to minimize the heat transfer. Now in that case, after insulation, if you measure the radius, that radius should lie well above the critical radius. Then only the heat transfer will decrease. If it is below critical radius, even if you add insulating material, the heat transfer will keep on increasing. I'll show you that. Well, this is the diagram. With respect to y-axis, we have heat transfer. With respect to x-axis, we have radius. Now, we have defined critical radius as it is that particular radius at which we get a maximum heat transfer. Or if I draw the resistance diagram, it will be a minimum resistance. So the resistance may vary in this way. Okay. At this point, we may be having a minimum resistance corresponding to minimum resistance. We will be having a maximum heat transfer. Now, if I add some material, suppose the outer radius corresponds to the value somewhere here. Now, if I add material, what happens to the heat transfer? It is again increasing. If I add little more material, it is again increasing. Up to what point? Up to this point, it is increasing. At this point, even if you add material, then it starts decreasing. Now you can see the downfall of heat transfer. Now for current carrying wires, it should always increase the heat transfer. If you apply the insulating material, up to this point, it will increase. Up to this point, it will increase. It is not recommended to make the insulation radius more than critical radius for electric wires. What happens if I add some material where the external resistance or external radius becomes somewhere at this point? Now heat transfer at this point is lower corresponding to this point. So it is always advised to keep the external radius of current carrying wires within the critical radius or at the max up to critical radius. Now, whereas for tubes of your refrigerator, where you want to store the energy or where you want to reduce the heat transfer, in that case, care should be taken such that after insulation, the radius lies above this point. Then only the insulation will act as an effective insulation, else it is not effective. Now with this, I'm going to stop here. In next session, we will discuss a couple of problems on critical radius, where the concepts that we have discussed will get clear and settled. Thank you.